Hello, geometry, how is it going? This is the first week of the online setting, basically. All right, so this is the first assignment. Again, as we talked about, or if you watched my previous video when we talked about the schedule, this is a homework replacement grade. So I'm going to go over a couple questions as if they're like the lesson. And then this assignment is just a picture of it, but this assignment that is posted in the Google Classroom, that is going to be the homework. And again, for this first week, it is going to be a homework replacement grade. So watch the lesson, go through the problems with me, and then go complete this homework assignment, turn it into me. I see that you completed everything. You've shown your work. It is a homework replacement grade. I will go through and replace your lowest homework grade. So if your lowest homework grade is a 2 out of 10, it's going to be replaced with a 10 out of 10. If your lowest grade is a 7 out of 10, I'll replace it with a 10 out of 10. If your lowest grade is a 0, if you have a missing assignment, I'm just going to go replace a missing assignment with a 10 out of 10. All right, this cannot hurt you. Please do this assignment. All right, let's get started in a couple problems here. This first one, these two figures are similar. All right, we know that similar figures have sides that are in same proportion. There's some sort of scale factor, right? And also all of our angles have to be congruent. Our corresponding angles are congruent in similar figures. My first question is just a review from our quadrilateral section. What kind of figures are these? What kind of shapes are these? Well, they're definitely quadrilaterals. And I have parallel bases, so that indicates that they are trapezoids. They also have legs that are congruent, right? These legs of our trapezoids being congruent. So this is an isosceles trapezoid, kind of special one. If we want to find the scale factor between these ones, we could figure out what number am I multiplying 2 by to get 16? Well, 2 times 8 is 16, right? Or you can think about it going the other way. 16 times what would get you 2? Well, if I multiply by 1/8, right? Or if I divide by 8, it's the same thing as multiplying by 1/8. So we have these scale factors. And then the third part says find the value of x. So I have this value right here, a leg of my smaller isosceles trapezoid. This thing is not drawn to scale, all right? Bear with me. So if I can set up a ratio between my two trapezoids, I'd be able to solve for x. I'm going to say that the ratio between this base and this base, 16, I'm going to write this ratio as a fraction, 16 over 2, has to be the same ratio from this leg to this leg, 6 over x. And you see how I'm doing big trapezoid to little trapezoid, and then big trapezoid to little trapezoid. I'm keeping these fractions consistent, all right? So I have 16 over 2 equals 6 over x. These ratios, if they are similar figures, these ratios have to be the same. So now we can just solve for x. So I'm going to cross multiply and say 16 times x is equal to 2 times 6, which is 12. Divide by 16 on both sides. X equals 12 over 16. That fraction simplifies down to 3/4, which we know is 0.75. I didn't put units on here, but maybe these are all in centimeters. Centimeters, that means that x has to be 0.75 centimeters. All right. So that was that first one, recognizing similar figures, being able to find a scale factor, and technically we'd be able to find 2 scale factors depending on which one we're looking at, right? If we're trying to go this way, we've got to multiply by a scale factor that is smaller than 1 since my trapezoid is getting smaller. If I'm going this way, I'm dilating my trapezoid up, right? It's getting bigger, therefore I multiply by a scale factor that is bigger than 1. I multiply by 8. All right, so that's the first one. These two figures are similar. Find the length of the hypotenuse of both triangles. So now we have some expressions, and let's just kind of take a look at this. I know they're labeled PQR and XYZ. I'm just going to label this as triangle A and triangle B because that's going to help me with my ratios in just a second that I'm going to set up. So I'm given some information about some legs, because they're right triangles, so legs of my right triangles, and also some information about the hypotenuse of my triangles here. This 21 and this 28 are both corresponding legs, right? It's between this, I think about it as it's between this one angle and my right angle. See, this 28 is also between my one angle and my right angle, so they're corresponding sides. I'm going to set up a ratio between these. And I'm going to write out this ratio in case you're having a problem seeing this. So I'm going to say the ratio between triangle A's leg and triangle B's leg has to be the same as the ratio between triangle A's hypotenuse. Again, the hypotenuse of a right triangle is the side that is opposite of the right angle. So it has to be the same ratio as triangle A's hypotenuse to triangle B's, hypotenuse, all right? So, again, I know this information. I can plug in some values for these. Triangle A's hypotenuse is 21, or I'm sorry, triangle A's leg is 21. Triangle B's leg is 28, equal to the ratio between A's hypotenuse, which is 5x plus 2, over B's hypotenuse, which is 7x. And now I'm just using cross multiplication to solve for x, all right? So that's going to get us 21. I'm just going to take this step by step. So 21 times 7x equals 28 times 5x plus 2. 21 times 7 is 147x. 28 times 5 is 140x plus, again, I got to distribute this thing. So now I've got 28 times 2. 28 times 2 is 56. And then to solve for x, since I have x on both sides, I'm just going to minus 140x to isolate my variable to one side. All right, that's just going to simplify down to there's just 7x left on this part. That cancels out, and you're left with 56. Divide by 7 on both sides, and I got that x equals 8. All right. And the question was, find the length of the hypotenuse of both triangles. Well, if I just solved for what x is, I can go back and plug that in to my expressions for my hypotenuses. Anyway, so A's hypotenuse length is going to be 5 times 8 plus 2, right? And that's going to give you 42. And then B's hypotenuse, 7 times 8 gives you 56. There is our two hypotenuses, hypotenuse. I'm going to have to look up the plural form. I apologize. Anyway, there we go. So those were two questions based off of similarity of figures. Let's look at, because I think it's a good review, you need to know how to apply the Pythagorean theorem, all right? So this is probably a good review. Pythagorean theorem, we've heard this before. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A is a leg of your right triangle, so maybe this is a leg, all right? B is another leg of your right triangle, so maybe here's another leg. And then this C is your hypotenuse. Again, the hypotenuse of a right triangle is the side that is opposite of the right angle, all right? And if we want to figure out, it says when placed 5 meters away, we have 5 meters as that distance on the ground here. When placed 5 meters away from a building, a 10-meter length ladder reaches the 3rd floor. How high is the 3rd floor? I'm just asking for this height, all right? I'm given the length of my hypotenuse, which is 10, and I'm given the length of one of my legs. Doesn't matter A or B, we know one of them. So I'm just going to say that one of my legs is 5, and I'm trying to solve for this other length of B. So plugging those values in, I have 5 squared plus B squared equals 10 squared. Now it's just quick solve for B, all right? Solve for B here, so that's going to be 25 plus b squared equals 100 minus 25 from both sides. B squared equals 75. And then to get rid of this square, I need to take the square root, all right? So b equals the square root of 75. And if you plug that into your calculator, it is about 8.66025. All right? So I don't know how accurate these are, but we found the height of our triangle. Our third floor window is 8.6 meters tall. All right? Those are the three questions I had for you. All right? Go back through if you needed to redo number 1. Watch that again. Again, please complete this assignment. Turn it into me, either submitting it through Google Classroom or submitting it through Google Slides, Google Docs. Type it up. Take a picture of it. Do it on a separate sheet of paper. Print it out. Scan it to me or email it to me. It is a homework grade replacement. It cannot hurt you. Please do this. Alrighty? Wonderful. Again, this is just one assignment for this week. When we kind of start getting used to this, I'm going to kick it up to 2 assignments. All right? So, good luck. Let me know if you have any questions. Go team. Adios.